Thank you. A very good morning to everyone who's joined us for this Biashara Tuesday conversation. As always, we are happy to join or to be joined by you as we converse around the ministry's mandate. I have to say I'm very sorry that for the past 2 weeks we have been unable to have our Biashara Tuesday conversation. But today we are back with one of the most interesting topics you will want to have. Today we talk about the Export Processing Zones Authority, commonly known as EPZ. I know that as I have walked around, everyone says, wewe unafanya kazi EPZ, nilete jeans. Which means people almost denote EPZ to mean a textile place or factory. But there's so much more about the EPZ-Authority. It's actually called the Export Processing Zones Authority, EPZ-A. And that the export processing zones that are distributed around the country are governed by this authority. Today, I am more than delighted to be joined by the acting CEO of the Export Processing Zones Authority, EPZ-A, Mr. Benjamin Chesang, to have this conversation with us. Karibu Bwana Chesang.
Thank you, CS,
yes,
for this function today. Thank you. Karibu sana.
Asante. We are glad to have you. Bwana Chesang, just a bit of a background. When was the EPZ-A founded?
Thank you, CAS and the audience. The Export Processing Zones Program was established in 1990.
Wow.
Through an act of Parliament. And in it, there were two institutions that were formed. We have the EPZ program itself, and you have the authority, where you have clearly indicated what it is, the Export Processing Zones Authority, EPZ-A.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was established for one major thing. One, the major objective is to facilitate and promote export-oriented investments. So that is the major reason why the program and the authority was established.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic. That means we have an organization that is 31 years old of running the export processing program, which I think is very important for people to know. But you see, the Export Processing Zones Authority is headquartered in the outskirts of Nairobi, which is in Kajiado County, if I'm not wrong, still within the Nairobi metropolitan, in the Nairobi metropolis. But where are the export processing zones distributed nationwide?
Thank you, CS. The EPZ-A's headquarters is actually located in Machakos County.
Yeah.
Okay, which is actually about, as you said, kindly, this is the Nairobi metropolitan area.
Yes.
Now, the EPZ itself is normally an area where it has been gazetted by the Cabinet Secretary responsible for industry, trade, and enterprise development for the purpose of producing goods for export.
Okay.
Now, in the country, we have currently 80 zones.
Wow.
Of them distributed in 20 counties.
Okay.
Most of which are actually based in the coast region.
Okay.
You have in Mombasa County.
Yeah.
You have in Kwale County, Kilifi County, and then we come to Machakos County. You have in Nairobi County. You have also in Meru County. You also have in Nakuru County.
Wow.
We have in Nandi County.
Yeah.
You have in Bomet County. So we have distributed in 20 counties.
Wow.
Yes.
I hope to have one in Migori County. But I think that's very good, because so that people don't just think that they have to come to Athi River as the only EPZ, and that EPZ-A does many things in many places. Tell us, Bwana CEO, what is it that the EPZ does? I mean, we understand that it does export. Is it only clothes? Because, you know, I used to have a cousin of mine who would say, "Mi nataka jeans, mzuri." Jeans, you know, meaning denim. Is that all that the EPZ-A does? What is it that the EPZ-A does? What's a broad spectrum of the things that the EPZ handles?
Thank you, CS, for that. It is true that the perception is that the EPZ program is basically a garment and apparel area.
Yeah.
That is not the case.
Yeah.
However, probably it's because of the major operations that take place there, is that you see this as a clothes or apparel industry. Yes. However, we have a variety of industries within the EPZ.
Yes.
One of them, of course, you are mentioning the apparels.
Yes.
And then the major one which is actually the major one, which is over even more than the clothing, is the agro processing industries.
Yes.
We have agro processing in various areas. We have in macadamia, fresh produce, and even processing of even wattle extract. So we have a variety of agro processing industries. In addition, we also have pharmaceutical industries, where even one of them was recognized by His Excellency the President for the work that's been able to perform. That particular company is called Revital Health EPZ, which is based in Kilifi, in Mombasa, in the coastal region. In addition, we have other five other pharmaceutical companies based in at the river. And I'm also happy to report that one of the major investor in pharmaceutical area called Square Pharmaceutical EPZ Limited is soon going to be officially opened.
Wow.
And we are look forward to that particular that one happening. In addition, CAS, we also have other industries like services sector, like call centers. We also have call centers in the EPZ. And we also kind of also have what you call the processing of mining of materials, mining area. So we have a variety of industries that are actually in the EPZ. Of course, as he has mentioned, apparel is the major one because it is the one that, because of certain incentives or that program the government has done, that has opened the international market, particularly the African Growth and Opportunity Act, where companies can come and establish in Kenya and access the American market duty and quota free. That is why you are seeing these apparel companies coming in and doing those intensive kind of activities. So CAS, what I can say, that we have a variety of companies in the EPZ that does a lot of products, including printing. For your information, CS, when we talk, we also bring security documents, including banknotes for this region and the world. Thank you, CS.
I know a lot of people do not know. Maybe we should spend time and tell them that the De La Rue is an export processing zone. The other thing that needs to be made clear, which you can clarify on, is if you are an EPZA, because a lot of people may not understand this, they will soon be bombarding you with questions and trying to reach you. They want to become EPZA. Are you able to sell locally, or is it entirely for exports?
Thank you, CAS. As I mentioned earlier, the program was established for one major mandate. That is export-oriented investments, that you produce goods for export. However, you are also allowed to sell locally. You are allowed to sell 80% outside Kenya or the EAC region. Because currently we have what is called the domestic market. And the domestic market is defined as the EAC, East Africa community. So what it means that as an EPZ company, you are allowed to sell 20% into the local market. That includes also Kenya.
I mean, that's very important. It's very important for the people to know. Now, you have touched on AGOA, Africa Growth Opportunity Act. AGOA allows companies that want to sell to America to access the American market duty-free, quota-free. What AGOA has tried to do is to create jobs in Kenya. To tell them you cannot go and work in the US. We are trying to see if you can go create jobs in Kenya. Should you go create jobs in Kenya as a company, you are allowed to then export from Kenya into the US, but we will not charge you duty. That's it in a sense. Tell me, Bwana CEO, how many people does the Export Processing Zones Authority, all the 80 zones estimated, how many employees does it have, or how many opportunities of employment has the EPZA created?
Thank you, CS. The objectives of the EPZ program, why it was established, basically, I can say there are about 5 of them for the companies themselves. One is called job creation.
Yes.
So you want companies to come and establish here for the purpose of creating jobs for Kenyans.
Yes.
Number 2, of course, producing goods for exports. And for the other ones, of course, what you call adding value to our local raw materials.
Yes.
And then finally, what is also called skills transfer.
Oh, yes.
So with respect to jobs that have been created in the EPZ, currently we are about 60,000 jobs that have been created.
Yeah.
And in the manufacturing sector, when you create one job, you create another 8 jobs indirectly.
Wow.
So it means CS that out of the 60 jobs that have been created, you have also created another 480,000 jobs indirectly through the EPZ program, because as they source raw material from the local economy, those jobs are there, and also when they get raw material from the farmers, also farmers was able to also create their own jobs, and that is what I can say about our jobs that have been created in the EPZ.
Essentially, the EPZ as an authority on its own has an impact of about 500,000 engagement opportunities for, eking a living or making income. And I think that's remarkable. I know that we have prospective investors coming into the country. I was privileged to bring to the EPZA a South Korean company that is looking to invest in the healthcare sector and the agro-processing sector. How has the situation been during COVID for the EPZ?
Thanks to CAS, what I can say that for EPZ companies during the COVID era, the timing, I can say some of the companies were able to probably reduce their jobs because the market in which they were selling their products kind of reduced. However, we are happy that they are able to pick up fairly fast, and they are now up to speed, and they are now able to employ even more Kenyans as before. What we have also heard from the companies is that even now they're even getting more orders for their products. And we are happy that most of them are even thinking of even expanding, of expansion. That is why CS about a month ago, we had a forum at the river to come and encourage local investors to come and put up additional sheds.
Great.
Because we no longer have adequate industrial infrastructure for them. So we have the demand is increasing, but in terms of space is what we are really looking forward to having the private sector come on board so they can have more industrial space for expansion of these companies.
I know I have people who listen to us from around outside the country. Some are investors. Some would like to partner with you, as you have stated. What are the categories of investment into the EPZ? What are the requirements? So start with explaining, if you want to come and do the local shades, for example, what is it that you need to do? And if you want to come in and set up a factory as an investor, what is it that you need to do? Just broadly.
Thank you for that question. Now, for you to come and establish in the EPZ, it is fairly easy. What you only require from you, first of all, is that I mentioned to you that it is an export-oriented investment program. So what you need to know is that just let us know that you want to come and produce a particular product for export. So you just give us a brief proposal on the product that you want to process. You also tell us that this is the number of jobs that you're going to create. This is going to be your market, and even in terms of investment you're going to bring in. And also, if you can be able to also tell us that you're also going to have what is called backward linkages. You're going to source a specific amount of products from our local market. Then thereafter, we just proceed and we just give you a formal license, a formal application form, which you just fill. And within, as the law provides, that we need to give you a feedback within one month. However, we have committed ourselves to give you that approval within 20 days. But in most cases, you can even be able to do even within 5 or 10 days. That is for what is called an enterprise license.
Okay.
But if you require to have now your own zone,
Okay.
for the zone, what you require is that you also require you to tell us that you have a specific land,
Okay.
and that land is free of encumbrances.
Okay.
That means you have not taken that title to the bank, and you have taken some loan of it. It should be free from any encumbrances.
Okay.
And that also you are already should be able to develop that zone within a specified period of time, maximum of two years, and you need to provide all the facilities that is required. Because for us, one of the incentives that we give the investors is what is called fiscal incentives.
Okay.
That is, when you as an investor come in,
Yes.
you just come and start and you move on.
Okay.
That means there should be water, there should be electricity,
Nice.
and there should be even roads within the zone. All those should be available for the investor to just come in and start
Plug in.
plugging and move on.
Great. Is there do you have a capping below which investors are not allowed? I mean, how much must you be ready to invest? You know, is it based on the amount invested or all these other parameters? Which is the most important parameter? I mean, all of them are important, but I am aware that in various, free zones or export processing zones globally, one would say if you're going to invest $5 million or $50,000, what is it? What's the lowest amount you must be willing to invest for you to be allowed an enterprise license?
Thank you, CS. I think for us, the objective is basically export oriented.
Yes.
So long as your project is an export oriented investment,
Yeah.
then we may not be able to have specific amounts that you need to bring in terms of capital or even employment.
Yes.
Remember, I told you even services
Yes.
is also allowed, or a
Yes.
call center is also allowed. And you see, for a service, it's like, for example, a consultancy.
Yeah.
Okay, and for the consultancy or for a call center, you require probably a small space, just like this.
I know.
This,
Yeah.
pick it up and you start operation and you
Export your
and
service.
you export your service. So we
Wow.
don't have a minimum kind of investments or levels that you can be able to start operation within the EPZ. So long as I mentioned, it's export-oriented investments.
And that's important for our listeners. You spoke about wanting to partner with the private sector to put up sheds so that we can attract more investors, because granted, there are times when investors want to come into the country, but the investors don't want to come and build. They want to just come find a structure that is ready, put in their machines. How does that go? And what is required for one to partner with us at EPZA as a strategic investor of infrastructure?
Thank you again for that question.
Yeah.
Now, CAS, you mentioned you are located in Athi River.
Yes.
And in Athi River, we have a specific piece of land. We have land there in Athi River,
Okay.
which is 1,000 acres piece of property or land.
Yeah.
In it, we are provided the services.
Okay.
We have all the services, as I mentioned, including water, sewer, and all that. And we have buildings, and we also have serviced land. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, all the buildings are now rendered out. So what we have is the land where you are now encourage investors to come and put up industrial buildings. So what we require only from them is a partner with us through leasing
Okay.
the land that we have,
Okay.
and then putting up the industrial sheds.
Are there costs to that, attached to that?
Yes, CS, there are costs attached to it.
Yes.
And for the land, we just require 1 hectare.
Yeah.
1 hectare piece of land, you require $5,000 per year.
Okay.
And that's 2.5 acres in 2.5. That is 1 hectare, which is about 2.5 acres. So only it don't require from $5,000 per annum.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you want it for 10 years, we will do it to hivyo.
Yes, in Ivo.
So what you do with it, if you can then work, attract an investor, or An investor can then be allocated, who then seeks an opportunity for investment from us. I think that's good. I want to see what our
Just let me add that even if you are building that industrial building,
yes,
even as EPZ-Authority,
yes,
remember our work is also promotion.
Oh, good.
So what we do is that we also promote
Good.
investments, and when we bring the investors, we also be taking those investors to those particular areas where you have already done to build those industrial sheds.
Fantastic.
So even also we do that for them.
Okay. Let me see what our viewers are saying. I think they're very excited to see this. I can see it. I'm sorry. Aha. Wow. I'm literally overwhelmed. Monica James says County 001 represented. Asante, Monica. I think the questions. Someone says, Vincent Atuya says, good job, CAS. You can also connect us to EPZ.
Yes.
Very soon we are going to tell you how to reach out to EPZ. And we are also going to explain the involvement, how jobs are created. Because some of them are not directly created by the authority, but by the companies that are at EPZ. And, you know, we don't compel them on how to advertise for these opportunities, but we try to influence, you know, to ensure that they give as many opportunities as possible to those who are capable. Remember, Kenya is one of the most skilled countries in terms of human skill. We have a very skilled labor. And so that's going to be there. I can see Colin says it's tuned in. Wow, I'm overwhelmed. The messages are too many. Thank you very much, Rachel, for the kind words. And this is why I love that we have already basically answered most of the questions here. In terms of jobs, is there a single point where a lot of these people are able to tell that the jobs a company has now established and is looking for employees, or the different companies do it individually?
Yes, CS, as you rightly put it,
Yeah.
Kenya is an area that we have really highly skilled labor force.
Yeah.
And as a country, we have high unemployment rate.
Yes.
And what happens is that once a company establishes, Kenyans are very knowledgeable, and they know what normally happens in a particular area.
Yeah.
So even before they start, even doing the actual putting up of the infrastructure, you'll find Kenyans already at site looking for the jobs.
Yes.
So we and the companies themselves, they are able to do the recruitment for themselves.
Okay.
But if they feel that they also require some assistance from us,
yes,
we also have a team that can be able to help them.
Okay.
But what we are happy is that Kenyans are very skilled people, very educated, and they already know what is there, and they're able to even go there even before the company starts.
Which are the incentives, Bwana CEO, that we give our investors when they come to set up in our EPZ? Because I know some investors come, they're looking at Uganda, Tanzania, all these other countries around us, Rwanda. What are the incentives that we have in place to interest and retain our investors?
Thank you. We have a set of incentives.
Yeah.
I can say we have got 3 types of incentives.
Yes.
One is fiscal. Is about taxation.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other one is what is called the fiscal structure themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you also have what is called aftercare services or one-stop services.
Okay.
So with respect to the first one, fiscal incentives, taxation incentives, we have what is called 10-year tax holidays. If they don't pay any tax for 10 years.
Wow.
And even thereafter, it is reduced to 25%.
Okay.
Okay. When they're importing their inputs or raw materials, they are duty exempted and VAT exempted.
Okay.
In addition, also when they're also sourcing their local raw materials, including even payment for services and even power, they don't pay VAT on it.
Okay.
In addition, when you also get profits, you also exempted on what is called withholding tax. They don't pay what is called withholding tax. Okay. So those are the I can say those are fiscal kind of taxation kind of incentives.
Okay.
Then for the fiscal ones, I say the infrastructure, which is already available, is ready, and it's just for you to come and plug
in
and into it.
Okay.
And then for the one-stop services, is that there are certain services that we may not be able to provide at EPZ ourselves, but we'll be able to do the legwork for the investor. Nice. For example, if you require maybe power connection, we'll do it for you. If you require expatriates, the work permits, for example, we'll be able to do for you. If you require, for example, issue about NEMA, we're also going to help you to see that actually you meet those kind of services. And then also when you're already established again, there could be some other things that could come along the way, and therefore we'll be able to help you address those issues. And of course, we also have custom services on site. That means when you're bringing your goods, you don't have to clear them from Mombasa. You can they just come direct to the zone. Okay. And then you have the customs officers there to receive and check. And also when you're exporting, you also have the customs officers on site. So they just check, and the container is sealed, and off it goes. Wow. And then also as a country, as I mentioned earlier, is that as a country, we're also happy that the ministry has also had what we call trade arrangements with other countries. Yes. So that when this company come and establish, they have access to those particular markets. Yes. One of them, as I mentioned, is the AGOA market. You also have the EU market, and you now have the one between UK and Kenya, which has already been signed recently. FTA, and we also have recently we also have the Africa Continental Free Trade trade area. All those now becomes also incentives for them, because they know that when they produce, they will access those markets very easily, duty and quota free. Fantastic. Yes. I mean, it's for our investors or any of the Kenyans, and investors here don't have to be, people who live outside the country. We also are asking our local, citizens who are capable to go and invest in the export processing zone to take advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which is the world's largest free trade area. To take advantage of Kenya's recent signed, FTA, free trade agreement with the United Kingdom. To take advantage of the existing agreement we have as COMESA. To take advantage of our agreements with America, the United States of America, under AGOA. Because when you produce in Kenya, you have a gateway into all these markets, and it's much easy for you. I know very many Kenyans who are well capable but just have never known. But maybe to just ask, for non-Kenyans or for any other investor who wants to come and set up the factory from scratch, is he given land for free? Do they pay the 5,000 USD every year? How does it work? Yes, thank you for that. The program is open to both locals and foreigners. Yes. And we are happy that now we have seen more Kenyans now coming into the program. Yeah. Because currently we can see that about 30% of the companies that we have are now locally owned. That's good. Compared to about 38%, which is foreign owned. Oh, wow. And then the other proportion is both local and foreigners. So we've actually been seeing Kenyans proportion coming up. Yeah. So for a Kenyan who has his own land and he wants to be gazetted, you don't have to pay any money, because that's your property. Okay. It's only for you now. When the companies come, then you can be able to lease those properties to the investors. Okay. It's only the public zone that we have, that I mentioned, the one at the river. Yeah. That because it's owned by us. Yes. And you can now be able to lease it, and you have the same terms just like any other person that comes on board. Otherwise, if you have your own land, then there's no charge on that land. Nice. That's impressive. Let's see, what are the questions you want to ask the CEO here? I think the viewership is, someone is saying, isn't the 5,000 USD per annum not a bit pricey, especially for Kenya? Can the government come up with some incentives as far as the land rates are concerned to attract foreign investors? Drew, well, I'll let the CEO take that question first, then I'll also add on to it. The gentleman, Drew Levy, thinks that the 5,000 USD per annum is a bit too pricey.
I don't know what you have to say. I know I'll respond to him in a bit.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Thank you for that question. That particular rate, you've actually looked at it critically, analyzed it, and you found that that particular rate is fairly competitive. And the reason is because of the services you have already taken up to the particular site. Because you have taken everything to the site, it's just for you to come and plug it and you start operating. So we are also taking into account those particular initial costs, and we feel that that particular rate that we are able to come out is fairly competitive. And but as mentioned earlier, if you have your own property, then you don't have to worry about the rates that I'm talking about. But that rate is fairly competitive. Thank you, CS.
No, I actually think Drew needs to look at it this way. Drew, for 2.5 acres, where you can do your development of your own land, you're going to be paying just about 40,000 per month. Just about 40 or 50,000 per month. I think it can't get fairer than that. 2.5 acres, yes. 40,000 per month, and you can generate even 2 million or 5 million if you so wish. You have a road there, you have water there, you have electricity. You don't even need to ask where you're going to get three-phase electricity. Exactly. Come on, Drew. Wewe enda uchukue hiyo land ufanye mambo hapo. I know you are a strategic investor. Foreigners encouraged or compelled to absorb a certain percentage of the human capital from the community or local pool, or they just come with their own people. Oh, thank you for that question. Yeah, that's Kefa Moses. Yeah,
Kefa Moses, thank you for that question. Yeah. Now, these companies are encouraged as much as possible to source local employees. Remember, what I said is one of the things that these companies bring in is what is called skills transfer. Yeah. These are companies that produce goods which are highly competitive in the world. And therefore their products should meet specific qualities for them to do that. Yeah. So for the initial purposes, maybe that skill may not be with us. But now what we encourage them to do is that once they bring that expatriate, they have what is called understudy. Okay, so that person will be able now to let the other Kenyan learn the process, and then eventually that expatriate be able to go back, and the Kenyan takes up that particular job. Yes. In addition, what I can also say, these companies are also very particular that they want to employ Kenyans. If they can be able to get that skill, they will be able to take it. Yeah. Because even an expatriate is even more expensive, and for a Kenyan, it is fairly fair, and they can be able to do that. So I can say that the companies are really looking forward to employing as many Kenyans as possible in their institutions, and also transfer that knowledge that they have to our Kenyans. I think I can comfortably actually say that more than 90% of the employees in these companies are Kenyans. However, we need to appreciate that for us to have that skill transfer, Kefa, we have to allow those who know to come and teach us. Then now we can send them away having known what they know. Okay? So we seek to have them come. Yes. We learn from them. Then we tell them it's been 4 years, adios, now we know what you knew. If they come back with new knowledge, we can allow them a few more years, know what they know, then we progress. That's how we will become absolutely, well skilled. I saw another question. I think I've lost it. How do you encourage or promote local investors, especially the youth? Kipkirui Hillary, you're asking how we encourage or promote local investors, especially the youth. Is there any youth-focused interventions? Very specific. I know investors is a shark's world, capitalists by excellence. But do we have anything geared towards the youth and promoting them? Yes, thank you for that. What we have is that we have a program which we call small and medium enterprises
Great.
program,
No.
where actually that is actually targeting those investors who are actually growing up.
Okay.
So who have just started, but they have at least they have already thought about selling their products outside the country.
Yeah.
So this particular program is said that even for them, you are even giving them more incentives than the general investors.
Okay.
For example, in terms of even the rates we charge them, in terms of space, it is less. It's about $2 per square foot per annum, compared with the other ones, it's about $2.5 per square foot per year.
Okay.
Number two, we have a dedicated staff
Okay.
who will be able to follow you up and help you to meet the standards of the international market, and also to look for your markets for you. Because you may not be able to have the market, but you have these companies who are also bigger ones, so that they may be able to link you up with the companies so they'll be able to grow up. In addition, also in terms of space, we have specifically smaller space where they can start their operations. So what I can say that we have a scheme targeting on SMEs or those entrepreneurs who have just started thinking about the export program. I am happy to report that we also have at least some SME companies, which are actually led by the youth.
Nice.
And they are doing fairly well.
Great.
So you are really welcome to look at that.
Kipkirui, I hope we have given you a sufficient answer. You will have a team that will teach you how to bite what you can chew.
Yes.
Not to bite that which you can't chew, that will choke you. All right? Because when you go into the export processing zone and find these big-time manufacturers, don't be intimidated, because we have a whole team that's going to ensure that you're handheld and guided, and will also help you to rationalize your dream and vision so that you go at the right pace that will help you achieve what you eventually want. Is the price proportionate just in case someone needs less than 1 hectare, or the USD 5K stands? That is being asked by Ted Mossy. I think, Ted, there was a clarification that the smallest chunk of land is 1 hectare.
Yes.
Which is roughly about 2.4, 2.5 acres. So ni hiyo tu. Sasa below that, sasa unless wewe ni SME, tutaona kama iko space kidogo. Yeah. So that's it. Wow, I'm overwhelmed by the viewership here. Is it possible to get a ready-made structure and do Tanjenga? Yes, the CEO said that they are partnering with the other private developers who can go set up structures. So there are. The answer is yes. There is a possibility that you will find a structure, and even if you don't and are unable to do that, you can be on the waiting list, I hope I am right, for the structures that are upcoming, depending on what size or you know what is suitable for you. So that's true, there is. Wow. You know, the viewership is quite a lot, so you lose one question, you don't know how should I contact you? Do you assist with the licensing options? Judy Kabechu is asking, how does she contact us?
Yes, we have a contacts.
Yeah.
Which you can just send us an email, for example, at info@epzakenya.com.
Very important. Take note. Listen to what the CEO is saying. Write it down. I don't want you to confuse it.
info@epzakenya.com. That should be able to contact us and be able to give you appropriate information.
Yeah, I know the EPZA will write down there. They're going to post it down there for your knowledge on the chat. info@EPZA Kenya. Yes. EPZA Kenya is one word.
Yes.
No hyphen, no underscore, no nothing, and not EPZ Kenya. No. info@EPZA Kenya. One word. .com.
Yes.
Or .com. Yeah. Let's not confuse this. Info at EPZA one word, .com. At EPZAkenya.com. So don't think that because it doesn't have .go.ke,
Yes.
it's not government. No, it is government. It's only that it is commercial. So .com, please. So that's good to note. Someone is asking, what is the size of the industrial sheds in square meters? Does it also cost 5,000 USD per annum or per year?
Okay, we have got different types of sheds. We have got sheds of 1,000 square meters. We have one of 1,500 square meters. And even we have one which are fairly big of 10,000 square meters.
Okay.
And in terms of rents, that's about this $2.5 US per square foot per annum.
Okay.
So those are the shades that we have. However, as I mentioned earlier, for SMEs, we have got fairly smaller ones ranging from 750 square meters to 1,000 square meters.
Okay. Yeah, so that's 2.5 USD per square meter per year. Now this math has to be done. Sorry, because of the very global context of the EPZA and handling investors, we try to use the US dollars, because now, you know, there's someone who comes from Korea and Singapore and Japan. If you start telling them Kenya shillings, they will now start doing maths their own way, and it will confuse them. So we peg it to the dollar, which is a globally accepted, a globally accepted currency. 2.5 US dollars. That is where we start praying that, you know, inflation behaves and the dollar comes down. When it is time for salaries, I know people want the dollar and Kenya rate to go up, so that $1 is at 120, so that, you know, but for the sake of the country and when it is time to pay rent, now I know you realize that you really need the dollar to come to below 80. So it's 2.5 US dollars per square foot or per square meter?
Per square foot.
Per square foot per annum, per year. Sasa wewe piga hesabu of the square feet you think you need. If it's 1,000 square feet, then you know that you will pay $2,500 for that 1,000 square feet every year. I think that's also, which is also very fair, just so you know. That's also a very fair rate. I hope Madam Jenga, you are answered in that. Thank you. Wow. Lack of opportunities for training and promotion and low pay are some of the challenges that are facing EPZ. How are you ensuring that such are addressed? J. Duke, you are saying that lack of opportunities for training. I'm not too sure I agree. And low pay are some of the challenges. Well, let's hear what the CEO has to say.
Thanks you about the training opportunities. What we have done is that we are working closely with the relevant government institutions to see to that actually, if you require training, that is actually done. Okay. For example, in Athi River, we have an institution called NITA, National Industrial Training Authority. Yeah. And they're actually based at the authority. Actually, we even give them the land for the purpose of actually training people who are required in the industrial sector. Yeah. And also planning also to have a program established also for specific industries, so that they can be able to train people for those particular industries. Okay. Now, with respect to issues about wages or salaries, what I can say is that EPZ companies are not exempted from the Kenya labor laws.
Yes.
They are required to comply with all those laws, including payments of the relevant wages or salaries with respect to those particular companies. Yeah. So it is that they must do that. In addition, these companies are also allowed to have trade unions. And we have companies already have trade unions in the EPZ, whose basic role is to see that actually the welfare of the employees are actually taken on board. In addition, CS, what you also have a team of EPZ team who also looks at the compliance issues about those labor laws and whether those employees are actually paid on the way they're supposed to be paid. So EPZ companies must comply with the Kenya labor laws, including payments of their wages.
Fantastic. I think, was it Jay Duke? Let's get this. Now, training, there is the training that would get you out of your work into the class. NITA is trying to do that. But I'm also urging those of us who find ourselves working in this environment to self-train, to go with the intention of learning how the machines work, learning the science that informs those machines, learning the systems, whether it's the human or equipment, how the systems work. What is the order that you need in an environment for you to be able to succeed? What is it that this apparel company or garment company is doing, or what have they instituted in terms of governance? When you come in, do you clean up? Do you wash hands? Do you have an accounting or inventory system? You learn on the job, okay? That's that. Then there is, of course, the National Industry Training Authority, NITA, which ensures that, you know, as much as possible, there are opportunities for training. Secondly, it's important to note that Kenya as a country has a minimum wage. And that's what the CEO is saying. None of those companies are exempt from the payment. By the way, we are far much better than countries that don't have minimum wages, because there are countries that don't have any minimum wage. And so the investor comes and says, we'll pay you 4,000 shillings, Kenya shillings per month. And, you know, take it or leave it. But in Kenya, because we want a dignified livelihood for the Kenyans, the president, you know, through the Ministry of Labor and Social Services, has ensured that we have a minimum wage. And that minimum wage, therefore, means you have to be paid on or above the minimum wage. Should you be paid or be earning a salary below the minimum wage, then that is an issue that will need to be brought to the EPZA attention. And as the CEO has rightly put, there is a whole team that takes care of that business to inspect and ensure. And they do it discreetly. So they don't come to ask the CEO. No, they will pick you on the roadside as you're going home. What are you paid? So that we have the true picture on the ground. I hope that answers you, my brother. Isaac Okoni, EPZs appear not to be established in Kisumu and Vihiga counties. Is this due to lack of information from the authority? But Isaac, just go, now that you have the information, go and list to get your land, put the infrastructure, weka stima 3-phase, weka barabara mzuri, weka maji, sema mimi nataka hapa ikuwe EPZA, come to my office, we will gazette it. Kazi kwisha. I think that's it, but you need to answer him.
Let me just add to that. Thank you, CS, for that.
Yeah.
It is true that we really encourage you to come on board. We'll be able to help you start an EPZ in Vihiga.
Yeah.
And Migori.
Yeah.
And also Kisumu. I can say that we are in advanced stage. We really appreciate the county government of Kisumu, who have also, we are in the process of finalizing the issue of land allocation. We are happy that we have already identified land, and they are in a position of actually giving us that land for the purpose of establishing an EPZ. So, rest assured, within a span of period of time, an EPZ will also establish in Kisumu.
Okay. There was one that was being done in Homa Bay. I have seen someone ask about it. We had land dedicated about 200 acres in a place called Riwa in Homa Bay.
Yes.
How advanced is that?
Yes, thank you for that question. It is true that we have an EPZ in Homa Bay at a place, as you mentioned it, at Riwa.
Yeah.
And we are in the process of putting up infrastructure in that particular zone. And what I can say that we have set some funds this financial year to start the process of establishing that zone in Homa Bay. But as you go along, we'll be able to develop it and make it operational.
Someone has said here, this is very informative. Thank you. I'm incredibly surprised at all the incentives being offered, and I hope to join you soon.
Oh, thank you very
Now
much.
that's
Karibu.
called impact.
Thank you.
know,
Karibu sana.
thank you, Ms. Nduta. We look forward to having you. I need to clarify, reiterate, repeat that, as we said, it must not just be the public-owned land. All right? Like we have in Riwa, that's public-owned. It's under the
Correct.
authority.
Yes.
You, as an individual, if you have sufficient land and you want it to be gazetted as an EPZA,
Correct.
acknowledge first that 80% of the products from there will be for export outside the East Africa community.
Correct.
You will only be able to offload 20% into the East Africa community or sell locally in the domestic, the domestic market. And once you are at peace with that, it is fine. You come to our offices in Athi River and you will be given every information. Then you will be assisted once you have assured that there is infrastructure in place, water, electricity, roads, then it will be gazetted. So that's private. So you can have a private EPZ of your own, gazetted by the government. But you have to abide by our laws, because the authority will now ensure that you abide by the set rules of an export processing zone. Then there is the public one, that is the one you pay for, 5,000 USD per hectare per annum. So you can go in as an investor, you can lease the land, build the sheds, and rent them out to various people. That's up to you. But you can also come as an investor, build your own factory at just the same rate, and run your own programs. I hope I have said the right thing.
You have said the right thing.
Yes.
It's true that I mentioned that we have 80 zones currently.
Yes.
And out of those ones, only 5 are public zones.
Wow.
75 are private zones.
Good.
So it means, therefore, the program is private sector driven.
Great.
So you are highly welcome
Good.
to also establish your zone.
Good. I hope, Brother Isaac, that we are now happy about Kisumu and Vihiga, and we encourage counties, and I have, as I visited governors, to set aside land that the county could set aside for an EPZ to put infrastructure, and we will be more than happy, because it would be a way of attracting our investors. Kisumu and Vihiga are very well positioned because of the railway line, because of the port that has now just been revamped by the president, because of the international airport that we hope will be able to carry goods into other markets, and no place could be greater. And so we are happy that Kisumu County has taken initiative. We ask Vihiga and all other counties to also take the initiative, and we are glad for the governors and counties that have worked closely with us for this. I think because I can see there are very many questions. How are you planning to visit other counties like Laikipia? There's a program that assists innovators and enterprises. That's asked by John Desi. John, the CEO, has just said a couple of minutes ago that we are talking to various people, but we also would love to see initiative. I know the CEO can't say this. I'm the one who can. We also would love to see initiative from the counties. Now, drive the counties also to work with us, to reach out as we reach out, because it has to be we have to work together. It can't be one way. All right, so but we really look forward to working with counties. I think we will leave this conversation. Did you want to say a word, Bwana CEO? Sorry,
thank you. I think you have just said about Laikipia. Thank you for that question about Laikipia. It is true. Even with Laikipia now, even talking
great.
with the county government of Laikipia.
Yes.
And we are happy about the responses and even the way they have received the program. So we look forward to really working up and ensuring that an EPZ is established in Laikipia. So CS, I don't think I have got any other thing to add. Mine is just to really thank you for having organized for this forum.
Yes.
And also thank the viewers for their questions and their observations, and that we look forward to receiving you. Great. And ensuring that your particular regions or that particular private zone, that particular plan is going to be gazetted as an EPZ, so that you can produce goods for export from this country, from your area. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Bwana CEO, and to our audience. We are glad that you stuck with us for this conversation. I don't know whether there are other questions that may need us to address. Our contact details, I know you want our contact details. They will be on our chats, but for the sake of this, what is our contact details? Hadija, don't worry about who I am calling or June. Our contact details?
info@EPZ-Kenya.com.
Yeah. As we said,
Yes.
do an email.
Yes.
info@EPZA. You know,
Kenya.
Kenyans just know EPZ. This is why I'm insisting on that A.
Yes,
EPZA Kenya, one word.
Yes.
.com. Any telephone contacts, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
0709
Yeah. 0709
537
537
000.
000. 0709 537 000. 0709 537 000. That's our number for the EPZA. I want to give the assurance of both my boss, Madam Cabinet Secretary Betty Minor, who is a great fan of this show and who is a great fan of Kenyans and the private sector, that any assistance you will seek to establish as an EPZ will be treated seriously, both from her and from myself as her deputy, and from the president as the one who is running the Big Four agenda, one of which, by the way, is manufacturing. And so the EPZ is a very critical pillar in the delivery of the president's legacy and mandate of the Big Four agenda. So we are more than willing to help you, and this might be the time to do it. Thank you, guys. We look forward to having a conversation next time. I hope this has been informative. Thank you, Bwana CEO.
Thank you very much.
My guest today has been the acting CEO of the Export Processing Zones Authority, Bwana Benjamin Chesang.
Yes.
I almost said Chesire. Bwana Benjamin Chesang, and that has been absolutely informative. You should see how people are delighted in the comment section. They're showering us with all kinds of good words. And to our teams, who may not be seen to most of you, we have a whole team of supportive staff from EPZA, from the Office of the Chief Administrative Secretary, from the Ministry. We are glad. Until next time, doodles.
Okay,
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.